Ai, ai. Lá no convento. A grana eu vou dar pro Robespierre. Ou não posso, eu não dou pra ninguém também. Foda-se. Vou dar dinheiro pra ninguém não. Vai tomar um pouco. Vamos ver primeiro o que tem que fazer aqui. Informe o Monsieur Raymond. Mostre a caixa para o Monsieur Bailey. Volte a falar com o Abade. Gregoire. Não vou falar com esse arrombado aqui não. Deixa ele aí.
Can I help you, Aegis?
What is the significance of these objects steeped in memories?
Nemes. I have reread every work that I have on them. Pages that have remained unintelligible to this day. These echoes go back to the beginning of time, to that fateful day in ancient Greece when some dark magician took it into his head to bind a soul to an inanimate object. You see, Aegis, there is nothing more diabolical, nothing more unnatural than this sorcery. The soul is the very essence of the divine. It refuses to submit to such an abomination and resists, eventually breaking. The earliest necromancers whose works have survived through the centuries all describe the same phenomenon. When a soul is fragmented, 3 shards of memory are torn from its consciousness and take shelter in 3 objects that the victim held dear. It's as if these memories wish to remain bound to the mortal who had held them until then.
I found this notebook written in Latin.
Indeed. Medieval Latin, to be precise. Oh, hold on. Bon sang. Aegis, what a find. This handwriting. I would recognize it anywhere. It's in Nicholas Flamel's own hand. Give me some time to study this, and I'll tell you what I'm able to glean from it.
Have you finished reading the notebook, mon père?
Yes, Aegis, and what I learned from it puzzles me. In this diary, Flamel tells of 3 journeys. 3 journeys into what he calls the in-between. A strange world filled with wandering souls. Tormented spirits that are unable to ascend to heaven.
This world. It's where Cagliostro's victims were trapped until I freed them.
En effet, I believe you're right. But that's not all. Flamel planned to return there a 4th time. He wrote this in the final paragraph, in his handwriting, dated 21st of March 1418. That was the day before he died, Aegis. What if his body died while his soul was traveling through limbo? What if he were trapped, a prisoner in this purgatory? Aegis, because of your unique nature, we have an incredible opportunity.
What do you mean, mon père?
If the soul that animates you has been bound to the automaton that serves as its vessel, then it can be separated from it too. And if this were the case, the soul would travel to purgatory, where Cagliostro entraps the souls of his victims.
Hold on. Are you trying to convince me to go and find Nicholas Flamel?
I'm offering you a chance to speak to the man who discovered the Philosopher's Stone. Surely you won't pass it up.
Assuming I agree to venture into purgatory, do I even have a chance of finding him there?
Certainly. According to this journal, the soul flies to the zenith of the place where it left the body of the deceased. Or that of the pilgrim, in this case. If Flamel's soul is trapped in purgatory, as we've guessed, you'll need to go to the house where he drew his dying breath.
Is it still standing?
Of course. It's on Rue de Montmorency, in the quartier de l'Hôtel de Ville. You can get there via the cemetery of the Église Saint-Jacques.
And how do you plan to free my spirit from this automat?
We would simply need to break the bond between them. To do this, we would need to stop your machinery. For a short time, of course. We don't want to lose you, ma chère. As for the rest, it will be a question of mechanics, chemistry, or electric currents, or something or other. Therein lies the problem. This is far beyond my comprehension. But it is fascinating, isn't it? Perhaps Monsieur Bailly and Monsieur Lavoisier could shed some light on the matter.
Goodbye, mon père.
Foda, hein? Dar um rolezinho no purgatório, trocar uma ideia com esse Nicolas Flamel aí. Esse maluco não sai de porra nenhuma. Vai, só pra ver o que acontece.
Monseigneur,
What can I do for you, Aegis?
Goodbye,
Nada.
Mumsy.
Allez, on...
Tá esse mano aqui.
Monsieur Raymond,
Go on, Aegis.
I went to the Hotel de Massiac as agreed. What I discovered goes beyond your darkest conjectures. The club's members have no intention of merely depriving their slaves of rest. Rather, with the king's support, they plan to replace them with automat harvesters. The Count of Cagliostro is behind the plan.
Ma foi. But such a plan would certainly only improve the lot of these unfortunate people.
You are mistaken, mon père. If the planters get their way, they will have a greater need of slaves than ever. Only this time, they intend to slaughter them to power their machines.
Quelle abomination!
Par tous les saints.
4 days ago, the Paris Guard captured 100 black people. They were to be sacrificed as part of an experiment to test the effectiveness of the automat harvesters. Luckily, I was able to prevent the massacre.
Where are they now?
In a place they call the Dépôt des Noirs. I don't know where it is, but I managed to get the key. It bears the inscription, Tour du Diable.
The Devil's Tower is a prison in Vincennes, within the chateau walls.
That's 3 leagues from here. We'll only be able to free the prisoners once we're able to move freely ourselves.
At least they were spared the fate that the king and his accomplices had planned for them.
And what will you do with the 2 servants you employ, Monsieur Raymond?
I will continue to treat them well, as I always have.
However, under the laws you insist on following, they will become slaves again the moment they leave the kingdom for Saint-Domingue.
Certainly not, Monsieur de Robespierre. What kind of a man would I be if what I have heard had not opened my eyes? The planters of Massiac have been proven to be nothing but avaricious murderers. I thought I was dealing with opposition, but now I discover them to be vile enemies, from whom it would be vain to expect any compromise. From this day on, I will fight against their interests with all my strength, and will not lay down my arms until the last slave in the Empire has been freed.
Rest assured, then, that the people will fight by your side, Monsieur Raymond.
That's the spirit, my friends. Vive l'égalité.
Tá.
Monsieur B. I found this box with astronomical symbols on it. I believe it belongs to Vaucanson's daughter.
Athénaïs' secret box. I built it with my own hands. It was my gift to her on her 15th birthday.
I wasn't able to open it.
Naturellement. Athénaïs and I are the only ones who know how. Allow me. You must arrange the planets the way they were aligned on the day of Athénaïs' birth. Voila, like this.
What's this locket?
Athénaïs is always wearing this. It contains a portrait of her late mother. She said it was her most cherished possession in all the world. To think, the poor child never knew her own mother.
You monster! What did you do to her?
Good God. Ludia, what happened? You froze the moment you touched the locket. I thought I'd lost you.
I saw her. Athénaïs de Vaucanson. The Comte de Cagliostro has her.
Mon Dieu. It is just as I feared.
He bound her spirit to an automat.
Please, say no more. Athénaïs. It is her spirit that animates you. Is it not?
Yes. I believe so.
Seigneur, quelle abomination. It is vital that you go and find Athenais as soon as possible.
She is right in front of you. I am Athenais.
Alas, I fear that is not entirely accurate. You know nothing of Athenais, Lydia. Nothing of her past, her joys, her suffering. Nothing of her love for her father. You are but the vessel that harbors the poor child's soul.
Where can I find Athenais' body?
God only knows. Although I assume that the Comte de Cagliostro is taking pains to keep her alive, this is certainly the only way to keep her spirit alive in you. The only way to free her is to find her body.
Why was Eugène de Vaucanson imprisoned in the Bastille?
Once he discovered the king's true intentions, he refused to continue cooperating with him. He refused to use his talents to create this abominable army. But the king didn't take kindly to his resignation. Eugène did manage to get a letter to me just before he was arrested. Here, take it.
Mensagem de Eugène de Vaucanson. Caro Bailey, escrevo-lhe em segredo e às pressas, que Deus proteja o mensageiro mecânico que lhe envio com esta carta. Levaram-me preso e não fizeram questão de esconder o destino que me aguarda. Serei enviado à Bastilha, onde pretende obrigar-me a revelar meus últimos segredos. Felizmente, Athenais pode escapar, mas é certo que ela será perseguida. Peço que ajude minha filha, se puder. Se a pobre menina cair nas garras deles, tentarão usá-la para me chantagear. Tenha certeza de que não direi nada, mesmo que para isso eu abra a mão da minha vida. Adieu, seu amigo Eugène.
Monsieur Bailly. I have not yet found the vitriol that we need.
As I said, you will find it in my storeroom on the ground floor of the observatory.
Mas eu não tenho a chave.
Do you think there is any way to interrupt my internal clockwork?
A most unusual thought. What do you have in mind, Aegis?
I would like to briefly sever the bond between my spirit and this automat.
It is a very strange request, madame. For what purpose do you seek to free your soul from its shell?
According to the abbot, my spirit would then be able to visit purgatory.
Oh, that dreadful place. Why on earth would you want to go there?
I hope to find answers to some very important questions.
You must understand, madame, that your very nature is a mystery to us. We are ignorant as to the principle that imbues you with life, nor do we know how your machinery works. That is why it is impossible for us to make even the slightest alteration. It would mean taking an unacceptable risk. Of course, if we had documents that could shed light on the matter.
Antoine, the blueprints.
What blueprints, mon ami?
Ludia's. Eugène gave them to me when he was working on the modifications ordered by the king. He wanted my opinion on the potential for reducing the size of certain key parts. The documents are obsolete now, but they could tell us quite a bit about the mechanical principles that are shared by Ludia and Aegis.
Bon sang, you're right. Where are the blueprints now?
Alas, the situation is not in our favor. I kept them in the safe at the observatory, but earlier, when I went there to collect my most important documents, before setting off for the convent, I found looters making off with its contents.
Blasted scavengers. Their kind are always quick to make the most of chaos.
I chased them to the quays, but was unable to apprehend them. When they disappeared into an underground passageway under the Louvre, I decided it was best not to follow them.
You acted wisely, mon ami. The automats are everywhere, and the marauders don't stand much of a chance.
I'll try to track them down.
Did you find the blueprints that were stolen from me?
No, monsieur.
Don't forget that those documents are our only chance to discover what was used to craft you. The looters disappeared into the tunnels under the Louvre and the Tuileries. I find it hard to believe that they were able to escape from that maze safely.
Goodbye, Monsieur B. Monsieur Lavoisier.
What can I do for you, Aegis?
The clues I found at the warehouse suggest that the gunpowder was moved to the Bastille.
Diable. You must find a way to get there and put an end to this threat.
Where can I obtain some vitriol?
I had some, but my laboratory at L'Arsenal was ransacked. I can't tell you any more than that. You should ask my colleague, Monsieur. He uses similar substance.
Goodbye, Monsieur Lavoisier.
É sério que eu vou ter que voltar? Não. Quem é esse mano? Ah, é.
Monsieur de Mirabeau. I found a broken cane. It says, Francis, do you know?
Well, yes. And I'm willing to bet you're looking for a
That's right.
Well, because
Mesmer, the prince of charlatans.
Good heavens. It's been a long time since I've heard his name.
5 years to be exact since your learned commission denounced his theories.
It wasn't long after that when he disappeared.
Can you tell me more about Mesmer?
He was a mystical healer who was once popular with the upper class. I myself attended several of his sessions.
You mentioned a commission.
The king did not look kindly on the healer's popularity within the court. This led him to appoint a commission from the Royal Academy of Sciences.
An institution to which Monsieur Bailly and I have the honor to belong. We were asked to investigate his alleged powers.
The experiments that we performed allowed us to determine that Monsieur Mesmer's activities were pure charlatanism, a conclusion that destroyed his successful career the moment it was published.
But there was something, Sylvain. A tiny flow of energy that my devices were able to measure.
My dear colleague, must I remind you again that we were never able to reproduce your observations? It was obviously a momentary failure of your equipment.
Perhaps. I'd like to be sure of it.
When and how did Monsieur Mesmer disappear?
The denunciation of his techniques was the start of a long descent into hell for Monsieur Mesmer. He was abandoned by his clients and resumed his research in virtual secrecy. I think he was hoping to perfect his so-called science and restore his reputation with the Academy.
A hope that led him to associate himself with that dastardly Cagliostro. God only knows what experiments they may have carried out. In any case, their collaboration did not last long. Monsieur Mesmer left the kingdom overnight to return to his mother country.
Why did he leave so quickly?
That is a mystery. But those who saw him that morning say it was as if he had the devil at his heels.
This is true. He left in such a hurry that he abandoned everything he owned. Furniture, belongings, and scientific equipment. And it seems that Cagliostro has inherited this treasure.
Is that so? Well, if what you say is true, that broken cane must have passed into the Count's hands.
Yes, it's likely.
This adventurer from who knows where is quite the mysterious character. And he has been very busy recently. I've been able to observe him from my apartments, making frequent visits to Rue Saint-Honoré, on the Tuileries side. I wonder what he was doing there.
What were Monsieur Mesmer's theories?
He is a proponent of a theory called animal magnetism. He claimed to be able to channel a purported universal healing fluid by passing his hands over patients and using magnets.
He also cobbled together a whole array of mad devices, each stranger than the last. Unfortunately, despite all his attempts, I don't know that he ever cured anyone.
What happened during Monsieur Mesmer's treatment sessions?
Oh, they were quite a spectacle to behold. Imagine well-born ladies afflicted with perfectly imaginary illnesses. A dimly lit room where incense has been burned to intoxicate the soul and cloud your vision. Amiable servants, half-dressed, gliding from countess to duchess to the sound of a sensual melody. And the great Mesmer, a doctor with wandering hands, presiding over the wonderful scene. Oh, you should have seen them. Those grand ladies moaning, crying, and falling into a swoon, clinging to that strange tub. Du théâtre, ma chère. Pure theater.
Eu cortei uma parte do diálogo, né?
Monsieur de Mirabeau.
Eu cortei uma parte do diálogo. Que desgrama, viu?
What does this letter mean?
Who gave you the right to read my correspondence?
I'm curious about how you got rid of Italia. As if it burned your fingers.
To tell you the truth, you're not entirely wrong. It is a missive sent by my father, the Marquis de Mirabeau, the scoundrel who shamelessly dares to call himself the friend of man. He writes to say that he is on the brink of death, in such a desperate state that he has received extreme unction. This reprobate used his final moments on this mortal plane to send me threats yet again. He swears that he will torment me from beyond the grave.
How is that possible?
To my knowledge, he has not yet deigned to shuffle off this mortal coil. In any case, the satisfaction of knowing he is dead would not assuage my concern. This man is more persistent than the plague. He's capable of anything. He has spent his entire life persecuting his family. And I believe he is ready to spend his eternal rest continuing to do the same. I need to know what he's planning.
Where is he now?
At his home in Argenteuil. Given the circumstances, going to ask him for an explanation is out of the question. But the man who heard his final confession is here.
Monseigneur de la Fare.
Precisely. Only this confounded shaveling refuses to tell me a word of what the old dragon confided to him. He stubbornly insists on the secrecy of confession. Bon sang. Will we ever be rid of these damned superstitions? Aegis, would you be so kind as to intercede with the bishop? Perhaps you will be able to make him change his mind.
Monseigneur.
What can I do for you, Aegis?
Monseigneur. I would like to talk to you about your recent meeting with the Marquis de Mirabeau.
What has gotten into all of you? This has gone on long enough. I will say it one last time and pray that they will finally leave me alone. Nothing and no one will make me violate the secrecy of his confession. Have I made myself clear?
Perfectly clear, Monseigneur. Monsieur de Mirabeau. Alas, the bishop stubbornly refused to reveal anything.
Damn it. I need to know what my rogue of a father is up to. Let me think. In light of the cartload of threats he sent me, it's safe to wager that my sister and mother received similar letters. They may even have already suffered his revenge. However, my sister lives in Grasse in the south of France. Unless a messenger rode 100 horses to death, she could not have received this letter. Then there is my poor mother.
If you ask me, I will go to find her.
Yes, it's very kind of you to offer. But I couldn't even tell you where she is staying.
Your own mother?
Indeed. It's a very embarrassing matter. A secret, which I beg you not to divulge.
I can be discreet. Rest assured.
Very well. You should know that my mother, the Countess of Covey, has lost everything. Truly. First her fortune, then her faculties. No matter what I tried, nothing could prevent her decline. It is said that she is now living on charity, in the most abject poverty in the slums of the Marais. If perchance your past takes you to this dreadful place, and if she still remembers who she is, perhaps you may meet her.
Mano, eu não vou lá de novo. Pelo menos eu sei onde é, né? Eu vou dar dinheiro pra ninguém, não. Vai. É sério que eu vou de novo em Luxemburgo, mano. Vai tomar. Luxemburgo não. É, Luxemburgo. Tá, que pariu. Colheres. Eu vou usar a porcaria da bússola. Foda-se. Cansa, mano. Tem uma bússola ainda. Veículos das profundezas. Cadê o cachorro? Vem. Ah, mano. Era nessa porta. Olha, tem hora aqui. Tem hora que é foda. Leque de Lady Macbeth, bloco de bismuto e moeda de carruagem. Olha, tem hora que é foda. Vou descer lá pra ver o que tem. Pariu. Mano. Agora abriu. Ai, meu Deus. Um diálogo fez isso aqui abrir.
The looters from the observatory. Poor souls. They didn't stand a chance.
Sabemos que tem alguém aqui. Oh! Porra, é isso? E aí, querido? Vamos. Cápsula elemental, granada congelante. Granada paralisante. Oxe, ele ficou quieto. Nada que 3 concentrados não resolvam. Puta, mano. Um diálogo. Um diálogo. É foda. Por causa de um diálogo. Moeda de carruagem.
Blueprints. Fortunately, they are in perfect condition. Monsieur Bailly will be delighted.
Agora sim, podemos dizer que foi 100% aqui. Só que é meio roubado, né? Ficar usando a bússola, meu. A cagueta tudo, mano. Viu? Tem mais nada aqui, né? Correspondências. Já se volta. Caro Monsieur, aqui estão os diagramas que você me pediu. Os ladrões não tiveram a chance de lutar com... Ah, eu posso enviar os bagulhos sem precisar ir lá? Eu vou só pra ver o diálogo.
Monsieur Bailly, here are the blueprints you asked for.
Good heavens. You found them.
Your thieves were not able to profit much from their theft. They met with an unfortunate end.
Oh, the poor souls. Their crimes did not deserve such a permanent ending.
Certainly, certainly. Let us look at these documents now, if you will.
No, Antoine, the F-wheel is not part of the cog that transfers the driving force to the escapement.
Diable, you're right. It's driven by the B-wheel, and its axis is on the shaft that's visible at this point.
Precisely. In fact, the shaft sits between the conical bearing and the small groove here. See?
True. It's decided then. All we would have to do is separate these two plates to disable the entire thing.
And to put them back in place at the agreed time to start the machine again.
You will not be able to assist me. I have to do it alone. Half a league away.
You must be joking.
By no means. You'll have to find another solution.
Unfortunately, madame, you're asking us to do the impossible.
Oh, ça, par exemple.
Once your spirit is untethered from this automat, it will be impossible for you to start the machine up again.
Hold on, my dear Antoine. Is this device in Figure 4? Is it still in place?
Yes, it is. What of it?
Bon sang. It's a timer. It's primitive, true, but fully functional.
The dial has marks from 1 to 15. Probably minutes.
It was to allow Eugène to plan the duration of Ludia's dances in advance.
Oh, I see. And by reversing the position of this peg in the center, we could instead turn it into a period of inactivity.
Nous y sommes, mon ami. Fantastic.
Will Aegis be able to operate this device herself?
We'll make it easier for her. All you have to do is put a bolt there that she can remove when the time is right. Yes, a small iron rod will suffice. We won't have any trouble finding something that will do. When the timer dial reaches 0, the automat will come back to life. However, given the dial's fragility, we will probably get only one chance to try this.
Are you sure that the bond between my soul and this machine will be re-established?
Ma foi, I admit that we can't be sure of this. What do you say, mon père?
Don't be afraid, Aegis. Unless I've been wrong from the beginning, your soul will seek refuge in the only body it has available to it in this world.
Well then, shall we start the preparations?
Let's begin. My fate is in your hands, monsieur.
Voila. Everything is in place. When it's time, just pull on this metal loop to start the timer.
Remember, you will have 15 minutes and no more before your spirit returns to your body. We wish you good luck, madame.
Remember, to get to Rue de Montmorency, you're best going through the cemetery behind the Église Saint-Jacques in the Quartier de l'Hôtel de Ville. Here is the key to the gate. Our prayers are with you, my child.
É, aquela hora eu entrei lá e nem era pra ter entrado lá, mas beleza.
Monsieur Lavoisier.
What can I do for you, Aegis?
Here. A bottle of vitriol.
Bon sang, Aegis. I'll end up believing in miracles because of you. There's enough here to destroy one of these lanterns. I'm sure of that.
May we know how you intend to do this? Considering that none of us can so much as approach these cursed Vestals. Only Aegis is able to prove your theory. Oh, wonderful. Even if we had 20 barrels of acid, the people would have no way of using it.
You're not wrong, Maximilien. What do you suggest?
We must find a way to spray the vitriol from a distance.
Chaudolo de la Clos.
Excuse me, Monsieur le Marquis? What does the scandalous author have to do with the matter at hand?
Laclos is not just an author. He is also an artillery captain and a military engineer. He developed the idea of hollow, explosive cannonballs. I studied the patents in the office of the Minister of War. It is a revolutionary invention. Voyez-vous, the projectile is shot out of the cannon intact and only disperses its contents the moment it hits its target. Tests were done using cannonballs loaded with scrap metal, but...
But we could also fill them with vitriol.
That remains to be proven. That would require us to get hold of our engineer.
And convince him to share the secret of his invention with us. That said, the Capitaine de la Clos serves the Duc d'Orléans and his supporters. A band of conspirators who simply want to replace the current tyrant with a traitor. It is rumored that he is now their spy master. God only knows where he's hiding now.
Olha lá que da hora. Eu não apertei nada e mudou a câmera.
The clues I found at the warehouse suggest that the gunpowder was moved to the Bastille.
Ah, tá, isso aqui eu já tava sabendo.
Goodbye, Monsieur Lavoisier.
Ele pediu pra eu ver a mãe dele. Não vou dar dinheiro pra ninguém não. Ai, se lascar.
Can I help you, Aegis?
Goodbye, Mom.
Can I help you, Aegis? Vamos fazer o seguinte. Vamos lá agora conhecer a nova área. Demorou, mas finalmente vou poder ir lá. Não que eu não pudesse, né? Mas... Ah! Ah, tá. Ou não. Aqui vai ter a mãe do cara. Vai ter a pista da pólvora. Vai ter alguns boss, né? Vamos lá no limbo, rapidão. Pergunta se eu lembro como é que chega lá. Não tenho a mínima ideia. Meu amigo. Se não me engano é reto. Ah, é. Sim, é melhor que assim eu não fico enrolando, mano. Não fico enrolando não, né? Eu não perco tempo, mano. Vai, querido, vem. Não, por que você trocou de arma? Porradeira. Beleza. Vamos lá no limbo. Caralho. Ui. Tá. Vou manter um save game aqui. Aí a gente vai seguir aqui, né? Sobe. Com a bolsa? Não é tão longe. E aqui tem um vagabundo ali. Bem aqui, né? Ui, eu podia ter pulado aquela ponte. Aqui, né?
Monsieur.
Zoons! Praise be to the Holy Mother of our Lord, at last thou speakest! Gentle dame, you have erred here for so long, not a word uttered. In singular contemplation of such terrible slaughter.
A long time, you say? That's not possible, sir. I've just now appeared to you.
Nay, thou must trust me. And thou wast hardly alone in this limbo. There were many travelers, stiff and silent, all in agony, all bound to the anchor stone.
What travelers do you speak of?
The first to arrive was a sobbing child searching for his mother. After him, many a damned soul carrying their own heads in hand. Then those whose thoughts passed through me. A minister of God tormented by doubt.
Hold on. A minister of God? Monsignor de la Fare?
A scholar with soul star-filled, and a learned master of alchemy.
Monsieur Bailly and Monsieur Lavoisier.
A usurer who shed so many tears for his lady.
Monsieur Necker, mourning his wife.
All bound to the anchor stone. Wretched souls, their ascension to the heavens repelled.
What travelers do you speak of?
The first to arrive was a sobbing child. Then
Hold on.
a scholar,
Monsieur Bailly.
a usurer.
Monsieur Necker.
All
The anchor stone, monsieur.
lapis philosophorum.
The philosopher's stone.
Aye! Vile knave who took it for his own lately. No count is he but that of trespass and perfidy.
Cagliostro.
Well met. The rope for this varlet and I shall be avenged. The anchor stone keeps the travelers in this limbo and makes them masters of the Iron Titans. From the defunct springs the fire that burns inside these demons. Lanterns of the dead. Witchcraft of the blackest sort.
The terrible slaughter. You say I was just observing the massacres?
Aye. Vile, innumerable crimes. The devil's own accursed titans and their restless horde. They drinketh from the lake where the souls of the dead sleep. Men and women offered in sacrifice to feed the pyre. Then the terrible maw was opened, and in flowed legion of the dead. Ne'er hast I seen such and so many here during all my stay. The stone is verily mine dark confine. Lonely, so lonely, that mine vessel is no more, and my soul still cloistered in this place. Alack, I do despair of ever ascending to heaven. Gentle dame, I prithee do shatter mine stone.
You want me to break the stone that contains your soul? Is that what you're asking me to do?
Aye, my God, I beg thee.
Do you know where this stone is? You've been buried for more than 3 centuries, monsieur.
The precious jewel, sublime treasure, was inscribed in my legacy, my testament. On my tomb engraved, gentle dame, on the tomb!
What a strange encounter. I must tell Abbe Grégoire about it immediately.
Da hora. Vou usar uma, vai. Pra não ficar dando muito rolê. Pera aí. Leque de Lady Macbeth. Qual que é o leque que tá na capa, hein? Enfim. Inventário. Tonel de vitriolo. Tá o... Onde é que ele tá enterrado, hein? Ah, eu lembro. A gente achou. Vou usar uma. Aqui não tem mais nada pra fazer, né? Ah, tem sim. Pera aí. A gente já sabe o que aconteceu com o menininho. Puta que pariu, velho. Droga. Não é aqui. Volta. E dá pra resolver uma side quest aqui. Esqueci ali mesmo. Ô meu! Vagabundo! Pra cá mesmo, tem que ir. Entra aí. Corre, né? Se eu não me engano, é ali embaixo.
Madame,
Do you have any news of my son?
alas, I do not.
Will I never see him again in this lifetime?
Então, beleza. Você não sabe de nada, então você não sabe de nada. Eu tenho que falar com quem? Vamos ver.
Can I help you, Aegis?
The plan worked as we had hoped. My spirit left my body and I traveled to the in-between.
This is extraordinary. It confirms all my theories.
You were right about the rest, too. Nicholas Flamel's soul had never left the in-between.
Mon Dieu, 4 centuries. What a fearsome fate. Were you able to speak with this unfortunate soul?
Yes, mon père. He claimed that I had been in purgatory for a long time, but had never spoken until then.
Please, go on.
He said he had met other visitors. Based on his descriptions, he was speaking of Monseigneur de la Fare, Minister Necker, Monsieur Bailly and Monsieur Lavoisier. They all seemed unaware of his presence. All bound to the Anchor Stone. Those were his words.
All those whom Cagliostro turned into his homicidal playthings. Yes, it is just as I thought. The subject has the impression of being the automat it is bound to, but his soul remains in the in-between world.
Mon père, Monsieur Flamel begged me to free him from purgatory. He has suffered for too long.
How can we help him?
If he is to be believed, we would simply have to break his stone.
Of course, the philosopher's stone. The anchor stone that keeps him in the in-between. But where could it be after all this time?
Look at this, mon père. These are Philosopher's Stones made by Cagliostro's hand. Do they look familiar?
Heavens, they do. Aegis. The ancient chalice of Saint-Jacques is adorned with a similar stone. It was entrusted to me by the parish priests, along with some other relics. I stored it in a reliquary chest in this very room. Here's the key. Go. Let us not waste a second more.
Goodbye, mon père.
Vamos dar paz a esse rapaz. Vamos dar paz ao Nicolás.
Here it is.
4 centuries, Aegis. 4 centuries. No mind can begin to comprehend what this poor man has suffered.
Is this the fate that awaits us? An eternity of silence and solitude?
Purgatory is just a stop on the journey, Monseigneur.
Oh, I would give anything to believe it again.
Monsieur Flamel, the time has come to set you free.
Seigneur, Dieu nous garde.
Oh, blessed maid who has broken my chains! Heavenly light! Oh, heavenly light! I shall become one with it!
Et cum haec dixis et videntibus illis elevatus est.
And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up.
Hallelujah! Purgatory is not the end. Do you know what that means, Abbot?
Before I say anything, I would like to take the time to consider the phenomenon we have just witnessed with a clear head.
You are mistaken. What we have just seen and heard makes us new apostles. From this day on, I will live only to share the good news of this divine manifestation.
That is all well and good, Monseigneur. Alas, I will not be able to join your apostolate, for there is no mission more vital than the one we are undertaking. At the moment when the tyrant aims to annihilate his subjects, I have a duty to put deeds before prayer.
Monseigneur.
What can I do for you, Aegis?
Goodbye,
Allez, on...
Monsieur Raymond.
Go on, Aegis.
See you later. Monsieur B. Goodbye, Monsieur. Monsieur Lavoisier.
What can I do for you, Aegis?
Goodbye, Miss.
É. Agora é ir lá.
Have you found my mother?
No, not yet.
Remember, rumor has it she lives in the slums of the Marais, in the shadow of the Bastille.
Goodbye, Monsieur le Comte.
E aí, o dinheiro vai pra ele ou vai pro cara ali, mano? A Bastilha primeiro. A gente encontra a pólvora. Tem que encontrar também uma bala de canhão, né? Tá. Começar a ver outras armas, mano. Tem pistolas, tem leques, tem esses chicotes aqui, ó. Mangal, né? Tem garras, tem mangal, mosquetes. Os leques de novo. Alabarda. Cadê aqui? O golpe especial é um parry. Ataques bem sucedidos com esta arma são seguidos de um poderoso contra-ataque eliminando elemental embutido. Pera aí. Só pra ver o que nós temos aqui. Quando as circunstâncias permitem, os leques de Lady Macbeth lançam suas lâminas devastadoras em direção ao alvo. Esse é a habilidade especial. Custo. Tá, 2 de elemental. Executam umas rápidas sequências. Tá. O que isso faz? Ok. Ah, tá. Tá saindo as lâminas. Garras. Porra. Mosquete real. Organizar por qualidade. Ah, qualidade. Florete e adaga. Ah, mano. Depois eu dou uma estudada nisso. A lasqueira. Tem umas armas pra comprar diferente aqui, ó. Bacana. Tem uns módulos pra comprar também. Ó, módulo nível 3. Aumento de dano físico. Aumento considerável de tempo para atingir o resfriamento rápido. Porra! Olha esses 3 aqui. Caralho! Oh, pera aí. Como é que tá seus módulos? Aumento considerável de dano físico. Carregamento eficiente. Quando ataques bem sucedidos. Aumento de vida moderado. De equilíbrio. Quantas chaves eu tenho? 2? Aqui tá no nível 2. Putz, ainda não dá pra... Enfim. Monte Martre. Vamos pra lá. E começar aqui finalmente